Unlearn Living welcomes you to this series of discussions called Universe, which covers a wide range of topics that are directly part of your world, your life, my life, our universe. We are here today with Mr. Kuldeep Kalavar, the founder of Unlearn Living. So, before we get on to today's topic, I had a question. I read somewhere that the Prashna Upanishad tells the story of six eager students who approach a guru for study. But before he could even take a single question from them, he said that the students would have to live with him for a year, lead a life of discipline, and then he would consider whether they were worthy of being good students. But my question to you is, I mean, how did your journey begin, and how did you become that student? And who are your gurus?
First of all, when any guru accepts a student, he ensures that he is qualified for that role which he is supposed to be playing. Just like a normal interview in any corporate,
Yeah,
they check
yeah,
whether you're suitable for that particular course or that particular profession which he is trying to get into. It's the same here also. So in my initial stages, my guru was my father and my mother, because for every child, your guru is basically your father and your parents basically. During your childhood, it is the manner in which they bring you up, the manner in which you're a keen observer about how they handle life issues, and you follow that template because that is what you think is right. Your parents are God for you, and when God does something, for you it's a template.
yeah.
And I remember my father, one incident, and that's where my training started when I was about 14 or 15 years old. And we were from I would say, lower middle class. Couldn't our we used to buy clothes only at Diwali time, etc. At that time. And I needed shoes very badly. And I was going on pestering him. And one fine day, he said, "Okay, I'm going to office. You come to this particular point." I was in Calcutta. You come here, which was about 3-4 kilometers away from my home. And he says, "From office, I will come there. I'll wait for you. You come there at about 6 o'clock. You should be there." Now, that day, what happened was it rained cats and dogs. The streets were flooded. And
Mm.
my mother was very adamant that I should not go. I said, "No, I will go because dad has asked me to go. I have to go." So I waded through the floods. It was about a 3 kilometer journey through the floods. This thing I went. And when I reached there, I didn't expect my dad to be there because it was really flooded and it was pouring cats and dogs. When I went there, I saw him standing there waiting for me. And the moment I met him and I came close, he says, "I'm very happy you came." I didn't know why he said that. He said, "When you say something, just make sure it happens." I mean, that's the
Wow.
first moral principle. When you say something, make sure it happens. And then he explained, in life, when you talk, it impacts many people. Some people will plan their day according to what you have committed. Some people will take what you say to their heart. Some people, each person who listens to you will take it in a different way. But when they take it in, it impacts their life. So when you make some commitment or you talk anything, be very careful that you make sure that you stick to what you say. So that was, I would say, he was my guru literally, because the
Yeah.
way he used to handle situations, the way I found that's the same thing he used to do also in life. And I also realized that that's the way life should be lived.
Yeah.
My mother's case, she was my next guru. She believed that Atiti Devo Bhava. Anybody who comes home at that time would not be sent back without having some tea and snacks, whatever it is. She would never leave a person, let a person go without, you know, honoring him, without, with full honor. So that was where I understood that for both of them, they were basically spiritual in practice rather than in theory. So So that's where they were my first gurus. My second guru was Swami Brahmanandji. I mean, in the 90s, when I came in touch with him, I had already done about 25, 30 years of searching and researching and trying to explore various schools of thought. And I had so many questions. And for some reason, he took a liking to me because he never would get irritated. I used to plague him with questions. I think if I had been in his shoes, probably I would have got fed up. There was not a single moment. The moment I met him, I would flood him with questions. And he was very patient and he understood, he realized that many times I would ring him at odd times of the day, not in the night, but odd times of the day. Swamiji, I have this question. What do you? He would not a single moment uh, get irritated. He would patiently answer all those questions. So he was the person who helped me look at every situation from a spiritual angle. That's where he taught me how to look at the bigger picture behind everything that happens in your life. Because everything happens in your life for a purpose. That's what the CWT says. That's how I learned it from him. He gave me that vision to see things from a broader perspective. The third guru I have still is our community head of our community, Swami Sadyojat Shankarashram. When I got involved with the community, I learned from him with my association how to handle society. When you're dealing with social in society, when you're dealing with people, you have to be very careful because you're dealing with people, emotions. You're dealing with people, you're dealing with emotions, you're dealing with feelings, you're dealing with the manner in which you talk, how you talk. You have to be very, very cautious and careful. Make sure that each word has an impact. Each word is understood properly according to what you want to convey.
Yeah.
There should be no distortion in the meaning of what you say to them. When they hear it, they should understand clearly what you are meaning. So that is where I learned from him. So these are my three gurus, which from whom I have learned. Swami Brahmanandji and our Swami Sadyojat Shankarashram are still there. I've been blessed that they are there with me still.
Wow. I think, but still something that you have not touched upon. But I think the best part of your journey has been that you decided not to just keep all this knowledge with you, but you got a lot of people together and students who have started with you 25, 30 years ago, and they have learned so much and their lives have been transformed because of all the teaching that you have done with them. I'm sure we will discuss that in another episode.
Because
Yeah,
emphasis in teaching was not to preach, not to teach,
yeah,
but to show them how to apply. Because you don't have to be a scriptural expert to apply it in life.
yeah.
What you need is you understand the concept and then apply it to life. The beauty of our scriptures is when you apply it to life, you find it's applicable everywhere. And that is exactly what happened, because that's what I had learned during my research, that most of it is taught, but application part is missing. And that's where I came into the picture. I wanted to talk about the application.
So, like you also spoke about, your home is where your parents were your gurus. In the previous episode, you were explaining how, there are four worlds or four stadiums, the professional world, the social world, the domestic, and the personal. And you spoke specifically about the domestic world, the home being that oasis. But the thing is that today, because of this work from home scenario, this gap between your work and your home has kind of completely narrowed down. I mean, how do you think we can keep it apart, or do you think we should keep it apart, or how do you think that people, we are also engaged in our own individual lives, that there is barely any time to have a conversation or discuss something or share ideas or ask questions to each other and just sit around, just be together and have some kind of conversation. So, if you could just talk about that a bit, and, especially considering this work and work from home and the home.
Let's look at the scenario about 10, 15 years ago, or even say about a decade ago. Let's look
Yeah,
at that scene and look at it today. When we were, I would say, 10, 15 years ago, your professional stadium and your social stadium was outside your house. You had to dress to go to office, and there was a certain, I mean, in other words, there was a distance.
yeah,
It was not connected with the home. Although whatever happened in the office definitely impacted your home, or the quality of your home life, no doubt. If you had an argument with your boss, it would impact your attitude at home. But the actual working area was outside your home. It was divorced from your home. Even the social scene was divorced from your home. It was outside your home. You had to dress, you had a dress code. In the office, you had a dress code. There were rules and regulations in both of them. Today, what has happened? Both these worlds have come inside your home.
yeah,
Now, work from home. Now, you don't need to go out because you have Facebook, etc. have intruded into your house. Today, on Facebook, what you ate in the morning, what you're going to eat in the morning, how you cook, everything is there on Facebook. So, social media has invaded your home also. And we do not know how to handle it. This is where our subject of Vedanta comes in, because they have gone into the basics. The question here is, if you see, let's understand these four areas in a little bit of detail so you understand what there is a difference between each one of these words. You cannot, it's in the kitchen when you cook, you know that certain things, certain vegetables do not go with this vegetable. So when you make a dish or whatever, you make sure that you don't put something which is totally out of line, which doesn't match at all. You make sure you don't match it. I mean, don't put it in. Similarly, here, each of these words has a different purpose in your life. So let's go into each one of them so you understand. And then how to handle that. When they come together, how to handle it. That's the next part of it.
yeah,
So the professional area is basically your company which employs you is basically interested in your work, in your output, in the quality of your output. They are interested in your performance. That's all they are bothered about. Where you perform from earlier, it used to be the office. That was the workspace where you're supposed to be performing. But ever since these issues of COVID, etc., came up, and if you remember, there were times, many times in the past, because I remember when I used to work also, there were many times I wish I didn't have to go to office. I wish I could, you,
yeah, yeah,
maybe if I could work from home. Well, your wishes have come true, but you don't
absolutely.
know how to handle it. So performance is the only parameter which matters in the work area, and they pay you for it, and they want value for money. You can't give value. Now, where you work from, frankly, they're not bothered. You want to work from home, you want to work from a restaurant, you want to work from a entertainment area. That is your job. That's your decision. They are interested in the output. So let's be clear. In the office, your emotions, your likes, dislikes have no role to play. They are not bothered whether you like your boss or not. They are not bothered whether you like your subordinate or not. They just want performance. So there is no scope for playing or play for emotions to be exhibited in this particular stadium. So this is the character of your work area. They are also not at this moment, or earlier they used to be very strict about timings, etc. But today we have flexible timings. You can work when you want. They are bothered about the output.
Oh,
That's all. So you have this flexibility. You can, as long as you're giving the output, what timing you want to work for 10 hours, you want to work for 8 hours, 6 hours, 3 hours, that is your choice. They are just interested in the output. Point number one. So let's be clear. Your work from home is your problem. It's not their problem. So that's point number one. The social scene was earlier outside. Now gradually it has intruded into the home, and today it is a home breaker also in the process of intruding, because there are many things which unknowingly get shared. It can disturb relationships. There are many things which you are unaware of what is happening, and you find out much later. You regret it at a later point. So your social area is needed. Your social stadium is needed, because you need people to connect with, to share, etc. But all these are virtual. They are not physical. You may have 1,000 contacts in your phone book. How many connects do you have? When there is a need, how many people are there who can connect with you and make sure they are by your side when you need them? So these are the limitations of the social scene. Both of these have come inside your house now, in addition to your home area, your domestic area, and your personal. So now you have a total collapse of all the worlds now into one world, and that is your home. And you have no idea how to handle it. This is the reason why today we have this tremendous confusion about how to manage work from home, including the house, because if especially the lady is also working and also a homemaker, she has a tremendous pressure. And this is where we teach you how to handle it, because our forefathers have gone through many of these situations in their own time. Maybe the environment may have been different, but our rishis, our scientists, went into all these issues. Now, let me explain to you. They found that there is a common element, a common instrument which is used in all the four worlds. And they found that the mind is the common instrument in every world. Whether it's in the office, you're using your mind. Whether it is your social world, you're using your mind. Whether it is a domestic world, you're using your mind. And if it is a personal space, you're using your mind. In other words, life is nothing but games between minds.
Okay.
Life is nothing but a game between minds. So, what they also found is man trains his mind how to make money. He has not trained his mind for anything else. The same mind can be taught to adapt to social world. The same mind can be trained to adapt to the domestic world, and the same mind can be trained to handle your personal world. If you're comfortable with handling your professional world, there is absolutely no reason why you cannot be comfortable handling your social, domestic, and personal world. So, this is the common instrument. You know, you have trained your mind to handle your profession. You have no idea what is the mind. You have trained your mind to handle the external. As you come inside, you find every issue now is inside rather than outside. The outside world is what you have trained your mind to handle. You have no idea about the rules and regulations and the systems in the domestic sphere. The other aspect which they found is common in all the four worlds is relationships. So you have two parameters which are common to all of them. If your relationships are good in the office and you have trained your mind to handle the office, your office world becomes a happy world. If you have trained your mind to handle social life and you have managed to ensure good relationships in your social world, you have a happy social world. If you have trained your mind to handle the domestic scene and make sure that you honor its rules and regulations and also honor the relationships relationships, and the mind are two big subjects by themselves. And therefore, if you can learn that, it gives you a happy domestic life. Your personal life is the most important, most important, because that's the foundation of your existence. If you're happy inside, your whole world outside is happy. If you're not happy inside, it reflects outside. So your inner world, the inner world of your mind, becomes the key factor and determines the quality of your life outside.
Wow, that's lovely conversation, sir, and definitely something to think about. So, if you like what you're listening to in this series, hit that subscribe button and the bell icon right away. And if you would like to know more about Unlearn Living and the course that is a course in living that is conducted by Sir online, please visit our website www.unlearnliving.in. And if these topics kind of really vibe with you and it's something that you feel that yes, I want to learn more about this, you should register for the next course that will happen at the end of the month. And we can begin there, and sir will take you on a step by step approach. So we will be back soon with the next discussion, and thank you so much, sir. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much.